What now, House Republicans? It's absolutely unacceptable that the House Republican leadership couldn't devote just one day to rural America and the 16 million jobs across the country that rely on agriculture.
Well, an expired farm bill definitely affects a lot of people. Maybe the largest group, though, the hundreds of thousands of Iowans waiting and wondering where their next meal is coming from.
The lapsing of the farm bill means fewer government checks for some dairy farmers.
And in a year where feed is scarce and margins thin, the impacts can be widespread.
The expiring farm bill also affects food pantries. The Des Moines Area Religious Council has given food to nearly 11,000 families this year and says the demand is still growing.
Linda Scheid, Executive Director of the Food Bank of Siouxland, says around 400,000 Iowans are at risk of not knowing where their next meal will come from.
How do you turn someone away and say, no, I can't help you?
Reverend Patricia Johnson of St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Sioux City stares at the barren shelves of the food pantry and wonders how they'll be able to feed the hungry families that come to their doors. You see, a large part of the farm bill is made up of programs that help feed the hungry.
Secretary Vilsack says he believes despite getting a farm bill through the Senate and out of the House Agriculture Committee, House leadership wasn't satisfied with the $23 to $34 billion in cuts.
House leadership had a much different number, and that number was reflected in the budget that the House passed on several occasions. They passed a budget that would call for $184 billion in cuts. 23, 34, 184.
We will deal with the farm bill after the election.
I get a little angry that they can't get together and get things going here.
He's busy bringing in the harvest, but unsure of how to plan for next season.
As spring starts rolling around, or even as the harvest starts to close, we're going to have to start making preparations for next year, and so yeah, obviously we'd kind of like to know where the farm bill's at before we make any long-term plans in that regard.
We must keep the pressure on Congress, on the House Republican leadership, to get a farm bill passed in the next few months.